For most of human history, information has been power, and the ability to hear what others could not often determined survival. In the Second World War, resistance fighters tuned into forbidden broadcasts. During the Cold War, ham operators eavesdropped on transmissions that revealed troop movements or coded diplomatic chatter. Even today, when satellites and digital encryption dominate, the air around us is still alive with signals, radio waves carrying voices, data and commands. What if you could capture them right from your backyard with equipment that fits in your hand? That's not science fiction. With modern tools and a bit of patience, anyone can intercept signals that were once out of reach. Stay tuned, because in the next few minutes you'll learn exactly how. To intercept a radio signal is to capture electromagnetic energy that is already being broadcast into the open air. Unlike tapping into a secure wire, intercepting radio requires only an antenna and a receiver tuned to the right frequency. The laws of physics guarantee that once a transmitter sends out a wave, it radiates in all directions until it fades. If you are within range with the right equipment, that signal is yours to catch. Historically, this has been used for both noble and questionable purposes. Spies in occupied Europe built clandestine receivers from scavenged parts to hear Allied updates. Pilots relied on listening to air bands to stay coordinated in wartime skies. Even civilian hobbyists built scanners in the 1970s to listen to police chatter, long before encryption became standard. Understanding these roots helps explain why many survivalists and history enthusiasts are drawn to radio interception. It's not just about the technology, but about reclaiming a timeless skill. The radio spectrum is vast, stretching from kilohertz bands used by maritime beacons to gigahertz frequencies carrying satellite data. Within this ocean of waves, different zones are allocated for different purposes. The familiar FM broadcast sits between 88 and 108 megahertz, while air traffic generally runs between 118 and 137 megahertz. Amateur radio has allocations scattered across the spectrum, such as the 2-meter band around 144 megahertz. Beyond these lie telemetry signals, short-range walkie-talkies, digital TV broadcasts, and honestly, countless others. A practical example for beginners is to scan the FM band first. Using a handheld analyzer like the tiny Say Ultra, or even a simple software-defined radio dongle, you can immediately see local stations lighting up the spectrum. From there, you can expand to the air band and hear live pilot communications. A thrill for anyone who has ever looked up at a passing jet and wondered what was being said in the cockpit. For decades, intercepting required bulky radios and sensitive tuners. These days, tools like the tiny Say Ultra or affordable SDR, that's software-defined radio dongles, bring military-level capability to hobbyists. A spectrum analyzer allows you to visualize signals as peaks across a wide range, showing not just one frequency but hundreds at once. This makes it far easier to discover transmissions you didn't even know were present. To get started, you need 3 things: a receiver, an antenna, and a way to process the signal. A basic SDR plugged into a laptop gives you digital analysis with powerful software like SDR Sharp. The tiny Say Ultra, on the other hand, fits in your palm and even includes a headphone jack for immediate listening. Pair either device with an outdoor antenna, even a repurposed TV aerial, and suddenly the invisible world of signals becomes visible and audible. A real-world step would be connecting your analyzer to a rooftop antenna. Immediately, you'll see spikes appear where stations are active. Move the cursor over 99.7 megahertz, for instance, and you'll hear a local FM station. Shift to 125 megahertz and you may catch an aircraft requesting landing clearance. Some ask why bother, since much of today's traffic is encrypted. The answer lies in both practicality and history. Not all signals are locked away. Aviation, marine, amateur radio and weather broadcasts remain open because they must be universally accessible. In survival scenarios, the ability to hear aviation updates or Coast Guard alerts could be life-saving. Even simple two-way radios used in your community generate signals that can be picked up, giving you awareness of activity around you. For history enthusiasts, the act of intercepting connects you directly with the traditions of wartime monitoring and Cold War radio rooms. When you hear the chatter of a pilot guiding a plane through storm clouds, you are tapping into the same kind of raw, unfiltered communication that spies and scouts once depended on. Catching a signal is only half the task, understanding it is the other. Broadcast FM requires no interpretation beyond listening. But aviation communications use specific phrasing, like cleared for approach or maintain heading 270. Amateur operators often exchange call signs, weather reports, and signal strength. A practical way to train is to keep a notebook by your side. Each time you lock onto a new band, write down the frequency, the type of transmission, and any phrases you recognize. Over time, patterns emerge. You'll know when a beacon is active, when local ham nets gather, or when air traffic peaks. This builds not just technical skill, but situational awareness, a quality prized by both historians studying past conflicts and survivalists preparing for uncertain futures. It is important to address legality. In most countries, it is lawful to listen to broadcasts intended for the general public, FM, AM, weather and ham radio if you are licensed. It is generally prohibited to intentionally listen to encrypted or private communications such as police or military traffic. That said, owning and operating spectrum analyzers or SDRs is legal, and much can be gained by focusing on open bands. From a survivalist perspective, the lawful signals already cover the essentials: navigation, weather, and community coordination. These alone provide a rich field of knowledge and practical value. So, how to apply this skill in practice? To make this more than a hobby, treat interception as a discipline. Begin with scheduled signals like NOAA, weather radio, or local FM. Once you can consistently tune in and log these, branch out to aviation or ham bands. Build a logbook of frequencies specific to your region. If a storm knocks out cell towers, you'll already know where to turn to hear updates. For example, set aside an evening to scan between 118 and 137 MHz with your analyzer. You may catch a local pilot requesting clearance to descend. Write the frequency and call sign down. Next time, tune in at the same hour and notice if the same traffic repeats. This is how hobbyists map the invisible highways of the sky. Over time, you can extend this practice into preparedness. In a grid-down scenario, intercepting aviation and maritime broadcasts could provide the earliest warning of wider disruptions. For history enthusiasts, the exercise itself recreates the atmosphere of wartime listening posts, where ordinary people strained over radios to catch fragments of hope or intelligence. Even as encryption grows, the open spectrum will not vanish. Planes must talk to towers, ships must talk to harbours, and amateur operators will always experiment. What changes is the accessibility of tools. Where once interception required an entire table of equipment, today a $100 handheld makes you your own monitoring station. This democratization of technology brings the skills of wartime intelligence and survival radio into the hands of anyone curious enough to explore. The air around you is alive with history, science, and human activity, all carried invisibly on radio waves. With just a simple device and a bit of practice, you can step into a tradition that stretches from wartime intercept rooms to modern ham shacks. Whether your interest is historical reenactment, survival readiness, or simply the thrill of discovery, learning to intercept signals gives you a powerful connection to the unseen world. If this guide has sparked your curiosity, don't let it end here. Start experimenting, keep a log, and share what you uncover with others who value this forgotten skill. And if you found this resource useful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with fellow enthusiasts. Every new subscriber helps keep these skills alive for the next generation of historians and survivalists.